Hola, this is Masanori Kobayashi, Program Director of the Sasakawa Peace Foundations. I'm in Cali, Colombia, attending CBD COP16. I'm here with me, Dr. Francisco Arias, Director General of the Coastal and Marine Research Institute of Colombia. We call it INVEMAR. We also call him Captain Arias. And may I ask Captain Arias, congratulations, wonderful CBD COP16 Cali, Colombia. How do you see CBD COP16 so far?
Well, thank you, Masanori-san, for the invitation to this interview. I guess that all these negotiations have two sides. One, that we call the political side, where we discuss all the items that are being agreed between the countries. You know, Biological Convention has a very strict system of decision making. Every decision has to go through a process of discussions, to revisions, and then we have to agree. Everybody has to agree on the final decisions. We take decisions by consensus. So it is very, let's say, robust the way that we come to any final statement. But on the other hand, although it's a little bit difficult, when you have a final decision, it is very, very strongly supported by all parties. So in one hand, you have the, let's say, the discussions, the long meetings with all the parties, but at the end, when we reach an agreement, it's, I would say, forever. The second part of the COP is the technical part of the COP, the meeting between the different experts, the different countries, the different NGOs, the different actors related to biological conservation. And in this case, Colombia, here in Cali, that you all know we took the post in a very short period of time. It took us only 8 months to practically organize everything. But I guess we did it right. So we, as Colombians, feel very proud of the way that we organized everything. And around COP, the strong message to have peace with nature has allowed us to bring a number of communities, both in Colombia, in the region, Latin American region, from Africa, from Asia, from everywhere in the world, meeting here in Cali, having the opportunity to discuss, to present their insights, and also, I say, to have a nice way of gathering and presenting our insights around the future of the planet, around the conservation of biodiversity. And in my case, Mr. Masanori-san, I am very happy that finally the oceans have a word within the COP, an independent word. We held 3 ocean days, one in the green zone, one in the blue zone, and one in the academic agenda that we had around the COP. And this is very important because oceans have been regarded and forgotten in the discussion. We are part of, in a minimum part of the discussion. So now we have this very interesting position to relocate the oceans in the core of the discussion between the parties at COP16, and I hope that you'll be for the future in the same way.
Thank you, Captain Arias, and I was so impressed by the speech delivered by your president yesterday. He was very articulate in the importance of biodiversity conservation and the green zone. It was also very impressive that lots of Colombian people showed up and demonstrated their commitment and enthusiasm for biodiversity conservation. And Colombia is playing a very important role with Ecuador, Costa Rica, and Panama expanding a marine protected area as well. How do you see Colombia and also your institute INVEMAR doing your work in advancing this CBD biodiversity conservation target?
Yes, it's a very important question. As you know, we have been leading from Colombia the establishment of marine protected areas. We have advocated this idea since the very first COP with the Jakarta declaration in the first COP actually. And from there we have been not accomplishing what we have thought that would be easy to reach. We had the Jakarta mandate, we have the agreements that we made in Japan when we had the Aichi targets, and then we came with the commitment of the 30% of protected areas, both on land and in the ocean. Almost none of the countries reached to this commitment. Colombia did, in all occasions, and it's very proud that my institute, we were the ones who pushed having Colombia to something that we called 30 before 30. So 2 years, now it's 2 years that we reached that goal. Actually, we have 37% of protected areas around the ocean, Colombian waters, and now we're reaching the possibility of having a strong commitment in what we call the borders beyond jurisdiction of the countries, so we can have also protected areas that will allow the oceans to be more safe in terms of biological protection, more safe in terms of the services that the ocean gives to the world, and of course more safe in terms of, for instance, food security, climate change response, and many other things that we are actually leading ourselves. The strategy of the 30 before 30 in Colombia was focused on deep areas in our jurisdictional waters. One of the most forgotten and less known ecosystems along the planet, which is actually the largest ecosystem on Earth. The sea bottom extends for nearly 70% of the total surface of the world. Only that it's submerged and it's very difficult to reach, but it's actually the largest ecosystem that we have on this planet that maybe should be called the planet ocean, planet Earth. So that has been our commitment. We have now declared areas in our deep waters with very special features. Cordillera Beata, which is a ridge in the Central Caribbean Ocean. Now we are sharing a protected area with the Dominican Republic. And in the Pacific, like you were saying, we declared Colinas y Lomas del Pacífico, which is a protected area right in the border with Panama, and that adds to this CEMAR, the Central Pacific Agreement that we have with Panama, with Costa Rica, with Ecuador, and of course Colombia, protecting, I believe, the largest protected international, multinational protected area in the world.
Excellent, Captain Arias. And Colombia has both Pacific side and Atlantic side, not only biological or ecological diversity, but also indigenous communities and the local peoples also have their own livelihoods that also are diverse. And we hope that we could exchange this science, traditional knowledge and policy for achieving sustainable coastal and marine ecosystem management. And the next year, we are having this UN Ocean Conference in June, and our office is also collaborating with economists and the Nippon Foundation in hosting World Ocean Summit. Any event initiatives you are working on now for the next few months and the next year?
Yes, indeed. And you mentioned this very important issue on the communities. We have a number of local communities depending directly from the ocean, both in the Pacific, in the Caribbean, and in the Central Caribbean. We have San Andres, Providencia, and Santa Catalina Islands, all with its own culture, with its own language, with its own way of living, depending from the ocean. So it's very important. And one of the things that we have been advocating at INVEMAR is to recognize the importance of traditional knowledge. We work with them as co-researchers in these areas, gathering information, translating the information that we have from traditional knowledge, from what we call the richness of these cultures, into science, being part of our projects, and giving advice, which is the purpose of the Institute, giving advice to decision makers on how to wisely use, conserve, protect the ocean. So it's a very important task that we are deeply, deeply committed into that.
Excellent. So thank you, muchas gracias, Captain Francisco Arias, Director General of the Marine and Coastal Research Institute of Colombia, INVEMAR. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Masanori-san, y espero que su estadía en Cali, en Colombia, hoy su tierra de adopción, haya sido la mejor.
Gracias.